I'm leaving for my family. And he said, well, then we can't record the song. And I was just heartbroken. I said, well, I'm really sorry, but I can't do that. So I didn't. That took guts. Well, it didn't to me. It seemed to be the thing to do. It hurt me because I was so disappointed that I was going to have to tell my friends they ever sit and record it. Dolly Parton, the queen of country music, and an American icon who has spent over 6 decades at the peak of fame, recently caused a stir among the public. In an exclusive interview with People magazine, she candidly revealed a list of 8 men she has deeply resented throughout her life and career. According to Dolly, some of them once edited her voice into mocking recordings that sparked public backlash, sending her reputation into a downward spiral. Others lifted her to the top of fame only to later turn envious and take her to court demanding compensation for what they claimed was her betrayal. But Dolly wasn't always the victim. In that same bitter list, she admitted to causing her fair share of trouble, from teasing a famous musician's wife live on television to being labeled a third wheel whose rumored involvement supposedly broke up a colleague's marriage. So, who are the 8 men Dolly mentioned? And is Dolly Parton truly the victim? Or has she been the one spreading discord in Hollywood all along? 1. Sylvester Stallone. When the film Rhinestone turned into a nightmare for Dolly, Hollywood in the mid-1980s was a place where anything could happen, especially when Sylvester Stallone was reigning supreme with Rocky III, 1982, and First Blood, 1982. He was America's action hero, while Dolly Parton was the sweet Southern icon. Her signature country voice and kind heart made all of Nashville proud. When these two contrasting worlds collided in the 1984 film Rhinestone, audiences expected cinematic magic. No one imagined it would become a disaster that both stars would later try to forget. The movie, set in New York and Tennessee, follows country singer Jake Ferris, played by Dolly, who bets she can turn a rough New York taxi driver Stallone into a country star in 6 weeks. The idea was funny, the cast was famous, and the budget neared $30 million. But just days after filming began at Fox Studios in Los Angeles, trouble started brewing. According to director Bob Clark, known for Porky, Stallone wanted to control everything from camera angles to dialogue. Meanwhile, Dolly, always meticulous and respectful of scripts, insisted on keeping her real singing parts. Stallone disagreed, saying movies aren't concerts. The atmosphere on set quickly turned tense. An anonymous crew member told Entertainment Weekly in 1985. They didn't openly hate each other, but they couldn't get along. After every scene, Dolly would walk away to avoid him. During one shoot in Music Row, Nashville, Stallone arrived nearly 3 hours late, making everyone wait. Dolly, known for her punctuality, quietly remarked, "Time is money, honey." Stallone overheard and laughed, replying, "Only if you make some." The comment chilled Dolly. She left the set and didn't return until the next morning. Tensions peaked during an outdoor shoot in Times Square, New York. When Dolly stopped to help a homeless man by wrapping her cashmere shawl around him, Stallone snatched it back, saying coldly, "Don't waste that shawl." Dolly simply replied, "That could have been you someday." The entire crew fell silent. One member recalled, "The air was so thick, you could feel the storm coming." After that, the two barely spoke. People magazine's July 1984 issue headlined "Rhinestone Turns into a Real-Life Disaster for Parton and Stallone." Variety described the set as a silent war between two egos too big for one stage. When the film hit theaters in June 1984, it grossed only $21.4 million against a $28 million budget. Rolling Stone joked that the movie only proved Stallone can't sing and Dolly shouldn't act. Asked about the failure, Stallone told NBC, "It was a mistake. Totally my fault." But Dolly stayed silent for nearly a decade. When Larry King asked in 1993, "Do you ever watch Rhinestone again?" she smiled softly and said, "No, honey. Once was enough." Rumor later had it that Stallone tried to invite her to collaborate on the Rocky Broadway musical in the early 1990s, but Dolly refused. A Nashville producer told Vanity Fair, "She forgives, but she never forgets." She always said Stallone taught her that fame and character don't always go hand in hand. After that blow, Dolly closed her Hollywood chapter and returned to Nashville to pour her heart back into music. But peace wouldn't last long. Her past soon came knocking again in the form of the man who once lifted her up, then broke her heart the most. 2. Porter Wagoner. The man who brought Dolly into the spotlight then sued her for $3 million. No one can truly grasp the magic of Nashville in 1967 without having seen the Porter Wagoner Show. Every week, millions of Americans tuned in to watch Porter dressed in glittering rhinestone suits warmly greet viewers. Y'all ready for some country? Then, one October evening, he introduced a 21-year-old blonde girl with a dazzling smile, Dolly Parton, who captured America's heart within minutes. Porter quickly declared Dolly his once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Together they sang duets and released hit albums like Just Between You and Me, 1968, and Porter and Dolly, 1970. They became country music's golden duo. But behind the stage lights, Dolly lived under suffocating control. Porter, often called the king of the Grand Ole Opry, was notoriously traditional. He dictated her outfit, stage posture, and even forbade her from recording solo songs. Dolly later wrote in her memoir, Songteller My Life in Lyrics, that Porter would change my lyrics without asking. He said it was for the better, but it felt like losing my voice. Tension grew over time. In 1973, during a taping at WSM-TV studio, the two had a heated argument. Porter shouted, "This is my show." Dolly, she stayed silent, left in tears, and that night wrote, "I will always love you, a farewell, not to a lover, but to her mentor who had broken her spirit." The song, released in June 1974, topped the Billboard country chart and enraged Porter even more. In July 1974, Dolly left the show. Porter told CBS Radio, "She owes me everything." The news exploded. The Tennessean ran the headline, "Fame Tears Nashville's Favorite Duo Apart." Rumors spread that their relationship had crossed personal lines and that Porter couldn't handle being left behind. In 1979, when Dolly had become a global star with hits like 9 to 5 and Here You Come Again, Porter sued her for $3 million, accusing her of breaching contracts and withholding royalties. Billboard's August 2, 1979 issue quoted journalist Robert K. Orman. "Nashville hasn't seen such drama since Elvis left the building." Dolly told ABC in a rare interview, "He made me doubt my kindness." The line stunned viewers. After nearly a year of legal battles, they settled privately. Dolly reportedly paid about $1 million, 5 times the value of her home at the time. But emotional wounds never healed. For nearly 3 decades, she avoided mentioning Porter's name. A friend told The Guardian she'd change the subject right away if someone mentioned him, as if that name still hurt. When Porter passed away on October 28, 2007, Dolly attended his funeral at Woodlawn Memorial Park and sang "I Will Always Love You" one last time beside his casket. The church was silent. When USA Today later asked if she still felt anger, Dolly said softly, "Time heals, but it never forgets." Those close to her said Dolly cried the entire way home, and that night wrote in her journal, "He was the first to believe in me and the first to break my heart." But that was only the beginning. In the years that followed, Dolly would face new controversies, from jealous peers to manipulative media that dragged her in.